dive. Today, we're really undertaking a profound analysis of these latest notes from Schumpeter Z's dialogue with Z.
That higher observational layer of his own awareness.
Exactly. And our mission today is pretty critical. We need to move past the abstract concept of ZOS, the creator OS, and get into its specific architectural application.
Right. We're dissecting the actual protocols for using this system in the real world.
Yes, focusing on business structure, content creation, and, maybe most critically, the physical manifestation of money.
What's so fascinating here, I think, is that we're not just reviewing a business plan, we're studying what feels like an operating manual for reality itself.
That's a great way to put it.
And for those of you who might be new to this specific source material, we probably need to establish some quick groundwork. We're talking about a shift in consciousness defined by 3 operating systems.
Okay, yes, let's make sure we're all on the same page. When we talk about Schumpeter Z's journey, we're tracing this evolution from the MEOS to the iOS and then finally to the ZOS. Can you define that shift for us clearly?
Certainly. So the MEOS, that's the ego-driven operating system.
Yeah.
It's the part of us that's always seeking external validation.
Yeah.
It operates from that place of survival fear.
That constant need to prove its worth.
Exactly. Then you have the iOS, which is the observational or spectator OS. And this is a really crucial intermediary step. It's where one learns to separate the self, the I, from all that emotional noise of the ego.
And the ultimate goal, the ZOS.
The ZOS. That's the creator operating system. It's the layer that connects directly to the 0-point field, the source of creation. And it operates not by reacting to what's happening now, but by rendering a completed future.
And that's what we're looking at today, how that rendering process is structured and executed in Schumpeter Z's 3 major ventures. So let's start with the architecture. The notes from Lesson 28 are incredibly clear on this. Schumpeter Z's 3 big ventures, GRIT, RIZE, and the ZPF channel, they aren't just a portfolio.
No.
They're described as a single integrated Trinitarian engine or even a reality generation engine. So how does this 3-part structure actually work? Who does it enable that orbital transition of consciousness?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, Z views these 3 projects as necessary output ports for the Avatar OS. You just think of it as like 3 separate departments.
I'll like them.
Or like 3 distinct but interconnected phases. They're all required to manifest a single unified purpose. The whole architecture is designed to continuously push consciousness into that creative ZOS state.
Okay, so the system needs an integration phase, an active creation phase, and then a translation phase. Let's look at that first component, GRI. It's identified as the past or integration.
That's right. GRIT really served as the foundational platform. Its core function was internal, It was all about facilitating that shift from MEOS to iOS.
The training ground.
It was the training ground, yes. It forced the disassembly of old patterns, especially those built around effort and the need for proof. It handled all the heavy internal lifting so that the I could detach and launch the higher consciousness. It cleared the space.
Okay, so once that foundation is cleared, the system moves into action with RIZE, which is defined as the present or creation. The notes call it the ZOS initial output, even the catapult.
The catapult analogy is just perfect, isn't it? Because RIZE is all about connection and exterior force. It's the mechanism that takes the pure frequency of the ZOS and literally launches it into society.
Through things like PR, advertising, the core business.
Exactly. And the source material even specifies its role in converting that raw, sometimes chaotic sexual energy into pure, directed creative energy. It's building the activity field that ZOS needs to express itself materially.
That's a powerful internal mechanism. And this active external push then feeds directly into the ZPF channel, the future, or the translation engine. This is described as the ZOS main body.
The ZPF channel is where the system closes the loop and, well, learns. Schumpeter Z's ultimate mission, as the notes define it, is to be the ZPF field translator.
Okay, so it takes the raw output.
Yes, it takes the raw active output from B, reads all the social reactions, the client feedback, the material successes, and it translates ZOS's intent into codified language, into theory, into the OS modeling we're actually discussing right now. It systematizes the insights.
So it's a continuous organic feedback loop. GRT provides the stable integrated self, the I.
Right.
Then BRC acts as this physical wave emitter in the world. And ZPF takes the results, integrates that data, and translates it into usable knowledge, which then feeds back into optimizing the services.
Exactly. And the importance of this for you, the listener, really can't be overstated. It means the ventures aren't just measured by profit, but by how well they advance the ZOS mission. If one part slows down, the entire engine gets feedback that the frequency needs a little recalibration.
That framework explains the structure perfectly. Now, let's look at the mechanism. If the structure is the engine, we need the operating manual. How does operating from ZOS fundamentally change those day-to-day actions, like marketing or content creation?
This changes everything. It's because ZOS possesses what the notes call the future log.
The future log.
Think of it like a perfect, fully realized GPS destination that's already locked in. Conventional business, it creates a plan by analyzing the market and projecting forward with all this risk analysis.
Right.
ZOS works in reverse. It projects the already existing completed future state, and then it calculates backwards to the present, finding the shortest, most efficient route.
So that feeling of things unfolding really fast or with surprising ease, that's not just luck.
Not at all. It's efficient reverse engineering. And that's why the protocol emphasizes the absence of how. ZOS doesn't need to labor over methods or strategies. It already holds the completion picture. The avatar's only job, the only check is this action directly on the line of the future log?
So any necessary action just appears as the next logical step.
It just presents itself as easy. This also redefines resistance. The source material notes that resistance, that feeling of heavy thoughts, a blockage, the inability to write. It's not failure.
It's just feedback.
It's just feedback.
Yeah.
It's the ZOS signaling an immediate deviation from the future log line. And the key is that the feedback is immediate and often physical. It stops the MEOS from wasting energy trying to justify a path that's leading away from that completed future.
Let's talk about content creation, because that's so crucial for communication. The notes describe writing in messenger mode. What does that actually sound and feel like?
Well, when the avatar writes in the MEOS, the content is logical, it's descriptive, it's long, it's trying so hard to explain and convince the reader. But messenger mode is pure transmission. The subject of the writing, the writer, almost disappears. You see these profound metaphors emerge, a strange lightness in the writing, and a tone that's strong and confident, but completely non-pushy.
It's writing not to persuade, but just to be acknowledged.
That's it. And this synchronization extends outward to media and PR channels.
Right.
Information that's connected to the ZOS frequency passes through PR channels abnormally fast. No endless revisions, no pushback, just light, immediate reactions. And this isn't seen as a good pitch strategy.
It's an internal acknowledgement.
It's ZOS saying, now is the timing to release this theme. The external world is just echoing the timing of the ZOS.
Which brings us to advertising, usually the most metric-obsessed part of any business. Ads are redefined here as a sync device, not just a metric game.
That's the core difference. Ads measure frequency, not just conversions. Signs of ZOS sync include unexplained drops in cost per acquisition, strange jumps in click-through rates.
And this idea of unnatural matches?
Yes. We are talking about leads who are incredibly high quality, former students just reappearing out of the blue, or sudden significant growth in an international audience that you didn't even target. These are signs reality is actively rearranging itself around the frequency being broadcast.
And finally, the one-on-one exchanges, interviews and consultations.
These are the points of maximum transmission efficiency. When ZOS is running, the conversation becomes instantly deep. The client feels pre-known.
Meaning the ZOS has already rendered their resolution.
Exactly. Fear just dissolves and gets replaced by resolve, which is transmitted directly through the ZOS field. The focus shifts from the avatar trying to help the client to the ZOS simply rendering the client's inevitable resolution.
Okay, we've established the engine's structure and the protocol for its daily operation. Now we have to address the most grounded and often fear-inducing part of reality: money, sales. What does this higher consciousness framework say about income?
This is so critical. For the meiosis, money is substance, it's security, it's proof, and it's a source of, well, crippling fear. But ZOS views money entirely differently. It's not meaning. It is simply the clearest UI display of the external PRU, the reality rendering unit.
That's a potent analogy. Money is a user interface display.
Exactly. Think of your bank balance and your sales figures as telemetry, like the dashboard on an aircraft. The numbers just show the current altitude, the speed, the fuel level.
They're reflections of the current state of the machine.
They are data points showing the current ZOS state and frequency. If sales are high, it confirms the frequency is strong and accurate. If they dip, it's not a catastrophe. It's just telemetry indicating a required frequency adjustment.
And you have to contrast that with the MEOS view. The MEOS treats the telemetry gauge as the actual reality.
Precisely. The MEOS looks at a dip in sales and immediately triggers survival fears. the need to prove, control, compare. And in trying to control the numbers, the MEOS forces the world to render reality based on the frequency of fear, which paradoxically usually just makes the numbers go down further.
So for ZOS, money is truly a byproduct. It just follows the intention.
It follows the wavelength of existence. Sales reflect the strength and purity of that intention, not the quality of a sales pitch or how much effort you put in. Schunpeter's notes have real-world evidence of this. The launch of RIZE, with that abnormal efficiency.
The staff synchronization, the high ad performance.
That was simply reality chasing the future log that ZOS had already drawn.
The notes also mention a really crucial period, the stoppage of GRI sales in August and September. Why would the ZOS mandate a pause in revenue?
This is such a powerful lesson for all of us. That stoppage was not a business failure. It was a necessary athanor.
An alchemical term.
Yes, for the furnace used in transmutation, symbolizing incineration or purification. The breakdown was required for the systematic incineration of the old MEOS pattern that was still trying to control that business. It was a required systemic upgrade. It had to destroy the old paradigm before the new frequency could take over. Sometimes, lack of flow is just the system resetting.
That provides a huge amount of context. So if money is just telemetry, how do we manage it without falling back into that controlling MEOS trap? What's the practical ZOS protocol for money management?
It's a protocol centered on detachment and surrender. It's broken down into 4 essential steps. First, set the direction. Z. This is paramount. Clearly establish the ultimate intention, the wavelength, the mission.
The ZOS priority.
Yes. Second, observe the flow. Watch the UI display sales, income without emotional attachment. View them dispassionately as data points, not as indicators of your self-worth.
Third, act naturally. Avatar me.
Right. Only do the actions that spontaneously feel right or effortless. The doing is a side effect of the correct frequency, not the root cause of the income.
And the fourth step is maybe the most important.
It's the only forbidden act. Do not fall back into the MEOS trap of seeking assurance, using figures for self-evaluation, or, and this is critical, trying to control the numbers through forced effort. You have to surrender the expectation that the MEOS needs to manipulate the outcome.
So the ultimate instruction seems to be to treat income like the weather. You observe it, you prepare for it, but you don't try to stop the rain or force the sun. You just maintain the proper frequency, and the telemetry will reflect that state. We've covered the shift from MEOS to ZOS in the deepest sense, from a business structure that acts as a Trinitarian engine to reframing income as simple frequency telemetry. The key takeaway for you, our listener, is that the rulebook for reality really changes from striving to synchronization.
And if the mission, the sole purpose, is activated and ZOS is running, then effort becomes secondary to alignment with that future log. The question shifts entirely from the ego's frantic, what do I need to do to make this happen?
The ZOS's guiding principle.
What future is the ZOS already attempting to render? And this turns activity from, burdensome work into a kind of creative inevitability.
The source material defines Schunpeter-Z's mission as the ZPF field translator, restructuring the path back to the 0 point as a usable OS model. So consider this as you go about your day. If your daily activity is no longer work, but a powerful beacon radiating your core frequency, what frequency are you broadcasting to the world right now? Thank you for listening. If this resonates with you, join the echo and share the journey. We'll see you in the next episode.